There is a chemical process happening in your kitchen every single time you turn on the stove, and if you are over 60, it is destroying your health from the inside out. You think you're cooking a healthy meal, but you are actually using the exact ingredient that shuts down your body's ability to repair itself. We aren't talking about calories, and we aren't talking about weight gain. We are talking about systemic cellular damage. If you have a bottle of vegetable oil or canola in your pantry, you have a ticking time bomb of inflammation that is actively shortening your years of independence. I want you to be absolutely honest with yourself. How many bottles of these oils are sitting in your pantry right now? Canola, vegetable, soybean, corn, sunflower? You have been sold a massive, dangerous lie for the last 40 years. You were told that animal fats were bad, that butter was the enemy, and that these light, heart-healthy seed oils were the secret to living a long life. But the reality is that the advice you were given, the advice that you have been following with the best of intentions, is the single most significant health mistake of the modern era. Those oils are not just unhealthy. They are chemically volatile, they trigger a cascade of inflammation in your blood vessels, and they are directly linked to the most common ailments that plague seniors today, from the stiff joints that make you wince when you stand up, to the mental fog that makes you feel like you are losing your edge. Let's talk about inflammation. Most people think of inflammation as a temporary thing, a swollen ankle after a sprain, or a red rash on the skin. But the inflammation I am talking about is systemic. It is silent. It is a slow, steady erosion of your tissues that happens inside your body, day after day, year after year. When you cook with these industrial oils, you aren't just heating food, you are adding fuel to a fire that is already burning in your system. Your cells are wrapped in a membrane, and that membrane is built from the fats you eat. When you eat high-quality, stable fats, your cell membranes are flexible, resilient, and they communicate well with other cells. But when you flood your system with these industrial seed oils, your cell membranes become rigid, sticky, and dysfunctional. They can no longer transport nutrients effectively or flush out waste products. This is the root cause of what we call chronic disease, and it is happening right under your nose, in the very food you are preparing to nourish yourself. Consider your daily routine. You wake up, you fry an egg in vegetable oil, you use a store-bought salad dressing made with soybean oil, and you cook your dinner in canola oil. You feel sluggish in the morning. You chalk it up to getting on in years. But that sluggishness, that heaviness, that is not age. That is the sound of your nervous system and your immune system screaming for help. After the age of 60, your body's ability to clear out toxins and repair oxidative damage begins to decline. You don't have the same biological buffer that you had at 30. If you keep hitting your system with these inflammatory agents, your body simply cannot keep up with the repair work. The inflammation builds up, the tissues break down, and suddenly you are diagnosed with conditions that your parents never had at your age. I have seen countless seniors who, within just a few weeks of clearing these oils out of their kitchen, felt like they had regained 5, maybe 10 years of their life. Their joint pain vanished, their energy returned, and their mental clarity finally came back. It wasn't because of a magic pill. It wasn't because they started training for a marathon. It was because they stopped pouring poison into their systems 3 times a day. We have been conditioned to believe that as we age, our bodies are supposed to fall apart. We expect the aches, we expect the decline, we accept the medication list that grows every single year. But what if that wasn't the natural order? What if that was just the result of a dietary environment that is fundamentally hostile to human biology? Think about how these oils are made. You cannot squeeze oil out of a soybean with a press. It requires a massive, violent industrial process. It involves heating the seeds to incredibly high temperatures, using chemical solvents like hexane to extract the oil, then bleaching it to remove the color, and then deodorizing it because the resulting sludge smells like rotting garbage. By the time that oil hits your frying pan, it is already oxidized. It is already rancid. And then you heat it up again to cook your food, creating a secondary wave of toxic compounds that are some of the most inflammatory substances known to modern science. You are not just cooking food. You are conducting a chemical experiment on your own body. Most people tell me, but I don't use these oils, I only use them for frying. But that is the problem. Frying is the worst possible way to use these oils. High heat accelerates the oxidation process by a factor of 10 or even 20. If you are going to eat fat, it needs to be stable fat. It needs to be fat that doesn't break down when it touches the heat. These industrial seed oils are the opposite of stable. They are chemically fragile, and they are inherently prone to degradation. By removing them, you are not just changing your diet, you are changing the entire internal environment of your body. You are creating a space where healing is actually possible. I want you to leave your age in the comments right now and tell me how many of these oils are currently in your kitchen. Do not be ashamed to admit it. Recognizing the problem is the first step to reclaiming your strength. We were all fooled by the same marketing. We were all told the same lies. The food industry spends billions of dollars to convince you that these products are safe, that they are light, and that they are the smart choice for your heart. They don't care about your joints, they don't care about your brain, and they certainly don't care about your independence. They care about their profit margins. It is time to stop listening to the marketing and start listening to your biology. You are the architect of your own health. You are the one who decides what goes into your body, and that single decision is the most powerful tool you have to protect your future. We are going to go through these 5 oils one by one, and I need you to understand this is not about shame. This is about information. You are about to learn the truth about the substances you have been using to nourish your family. We are going to look at the specific chemistry of why these oils are so damaging, and why removing them is the most effective way to dampen the chronic inflammation that is aging you before your time. If you are ready to purge your pantry and take back control, let's get into the specifics. Let's get right into the list. The first oil you must banish from your kitchen is soybean oil. You might think you don't use it, but check your labels. It is in almost every salad dressing, every jar of mayonnaise, and every single processed snack in your pantry. Soybean oil is the most widely consumed oil in the world, and it is a massive driver of systemic inflammation. It is incredibly high in omega-6 linoleic acid, which in the amounts we consume today, acts like gasoline on the fire of inflammation. When you cook with soybean oil, or when you eat foods prepared with it, you are essentially signaling your immune system to stay in a state of high alert. This causes the cartilage in your joints to break down faster, it causes the lining of your blood vessels to become irritated, and it contributes directly to the cognitive fog that so many seniors struggle with. If you are eating soybean oil, you are fighting a losing battle against your own biology. Next on the list is canola oil. This is perhaps the most deceptive oil of all because for decades it was marketed as the gold standard of heart-healthy cooking. But let's look at the reality. Canola oil is derived from the rapeseed plant, a crop that is heavily treated with pesticides and genetically modified to withstand even more chemicals. The extraction process is brutal. The seeds are crushed and heated to high temperatures, then treated with harsh chemical solvents, usually hexane, to extract the oil. By the time it reaches the bottle, it has been bleached and deodorized. When you heat canola oil to high temperatures, it oxidizes rapidly. Oxidized fats are toxic. They damage your DNA, they damage your protein structures, and they are directly linked to the formation of plaque in your arteries. When you hear about heart-healthy oil, remember that this is a marketing term, not a biological one. Your heart does not thrive on chemically extracted, industrially refined seed oil. Your heart thrives on stable, non-oxidized, natural fats. Then we have corn oil. Most corn in the modern food supply is genetically modified, which means it carries a higher load of pesticide residues than almost any other crop. But beyond the GMO factor, corn oil is a powerhouse of omega-6 fatty acids. When you ingest large amounts of corn oil, you are drastically tilting your body's inflammatory balance. I have seen many seniors who complained of unexplained fatigue and a heavy feeling in their chest. When we dug into their dietary history, we found they were using corn oil for everything: frying, baking, even popping popcorn. Once we removed this, their systemic markers of inflammation began to plummet. Their energy came back. Their blood pressure stabilized. This isn't magic, it is biology. You are stopping the intake of the inflammatory agent, and your body is finally doing what it is designed to do, which is to heal itself. You are stopping the interference, so your cells can return to their natural state of function. The fourth oil is sunflower oil. Many people choose sunflower oil because they think it is natural, but that natural source doesn't mean the refined product is healthy. Sunflower oil is extremely sensitive to heat. Even if it is marketed as high oleic, the moment you bring it to a high temperature in a frying pan, the molecular structure begins to fracture. This creates volatile aldehydes, which are compounds that are known to cause DNA damage and increase your risk of cellular mutation. When you smell that distinct acrid odor coming from your frying pan while cooking, you are smelling the breakdown of your health. You are smelling the formation of toxins. If you are using sunflower oil to fry your eggs or sauté your vegetables, you are effectively turning your meal into a source of stress for your cells. Your body then has to expend enormous amounts of energy and resources to neutralize those toxins, energy that should be used for repairing your joints, maintaining your memory, and supporting your immune system. Finally, we come to cottonseed oil. If you have never heard of this, it is likely because it is mostly used in commercial food production and restaurant cooking, but it is still sold on supermarket shelves. Cottonseed oil is essentially an industrial byproduct. Cotton is a fiber crop, not a food crop. It is sprayed with some of the most toxic pesticides in the agricultural industry, chemicals that are not even meant for human consumption. The leftover seeds are then crushed to extract the oil, which is then refined and bleached. It is one of the most chemically processed substances you can put in your body. If you see cottonseed oil on a label, put that item back on the shelf and walk away. It has no place in a kitchen that values long-term health. I want you to think about the people I have seen who made the switch. I recall a woman named Martha, who was 74. She had been dealing with persistent skin issues, joint stiffness, and a general feeling of malaise for years. She thought it was just the price of being old. We stripped her diet of all these seed oils. We switched her to grass-fed butter, coconut oil for high heat, and extra virgin olive oil for everything else. Within 3 months, her skin had cleared up. Her joint pain was gone, and she reported that for the first time in a decade, she woke up feeling truly refreshed. She didn't have to take expensive supplements or start new medications. She simply stopped poisoning herself with inflammatory oils. That is the power of the change I'm asking you to make. The science behind this is grounded in the concept of lipid peroxidation. When you consume these damaged, oxidized oils, they circulate in your bloodstream and integrate into your tissues. They don't just stay in your gut, they move into your brain, your heart, your kidneys, and your joints. They create a state of chronic, low-level oxidative stress that keeps your cells in a constant cycle of damage and repair. This is the definition of accelerated aging. Your body can handle some level of stress, but it cannot handle a constant barrage of oxidative damage, day after day, year after year. Most people tell me, but I don't use these oils, I only use them for frying. But that is the problem. Frying is the worst possible way to use these oils. High heat accelerates the oxidation process by a factor of 10 or even 20. If you are going to eat fat, it needs to be stable fat. It needs to be fat that doesn't break down when it touches the heat. These industrial seed oils are the opposite of stable. They are chemically fragile, and they are inherently prone to degradation. By removing them, you are not just changing your diet, you are changing the entire internal environment of your body. You are creating a space where healing is actually possible. I want you to look at your pantry with a critical eye. Do not be fooled by the labels that say heart, healthy, or natural source. Those are marketing claims designed to keep you buying cheap, mass-produced products. You have to learn to read the ingredients list. If you see soybean, canola, corn, sunflower, or cottonseed oil, you are looking at an inflammatory agent. Don't rationalize it. Don't say, I'll just use it up, throw it away. That small action, emptying those bottles into the trash, is the most significant step you can take for your long-term independence. You are literally clearing the path for your body to return to a state of balance. But clearing your pantry is only the first step. You need to know what to replace these oils with. You need to know how to cook at high heat without creating toxic byproducts. You need to know how to navigate the grocery store to find fats that actually support your brain, your heart, and your mobility. We are about to dive into the transition phase. We are going to look at the oils that are actually medicine for your body and how to make the switch without sacrificing the flavor or the comfort of your favorite meals. Are you ready to see what a truly anti-inflammatory kitchen looks like and how you can start this change today without feeling overwhelmed? We are moving into the final and most practical part of our plan. Now that you have purged your pantry of those 5 industrial toxins, you might be asking, so, what exactly am I supposed to cook with? It is a fair question. We have been so brainwashed by the low-fat and seed oil movements that we have forgotten how our ancestors cooked for centuries. We have been led to believe that fat is the enemy, but the truth is, the right fats are your best friends. They are your body's preferred source of energy, they are vital for hormone production, and they are essential for the structural integrity of your brain. Let's start with the king of all oils, extra virgin olive oil. This is not just a cooking fat, it is liquid medicine, but you must be careful. You need to buy high-quality, cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil. I am not talking about the light, refined stuff in plastic bottles. I am talking about the kind that comes in a dark glass bottle, the kind that has a slight peppery kick when you taste it. That kick? Those are the polyphenols. Those are the antioxidants that fight off cellular damage and inflammation. Olive oil is incredibly stable, but it is best used for dressings, drizzling over finished dishes, or low to medium heat cooking. Do not be afraid to use it liberally. Your brain thrives on the healthy monounsaturated fats found in olive oil. It is the foundation of the Mediterranean diet for a reason, and that reason is not just flavor, it is longevity. Next, you need a high-heat warrior, avocado oil. If you are someone who likes to sear your steaks, roast your vegetables at high temperatures, or stir-fry your food, avocado oil is your best friend. It has a high smoke point, meaning it is structurally stable at higher temperatures. It doesn't break down, it doesn't oxidize, and it doesn't create those toxic byproducts we talked about earlier. It is neutral in flavor, so it won't interfere with your cooking, but it provides the kind of stable, healthy fat that your cardiovascular system needs to remain flexible and clear. Then, we have the fats that the medical establishment spent decades telling you to avoid: grass-fed butter and ghee. For years, we were told that butter was going to kill us. And yet, look at the health statistics of the generations who grew up eating butter and lard. They didn't have the epidemic of Alzheimer's, the rampant obesity, or the systemic inflammation that we see today. Grass-fed butter is rich in vitamin K2, which is essential for bone health and heart health. It directs calcium to your bones instead of your arteries. Ghee, or clarified butter, is even better for cooking because the milk solids have been removed, making it extremely stable and perfect for high-heat cooking. Do not fear the butter, fear the processed oils that were invented to replace it. When you start cooking with these real traditional fats, you will notice a difference immediately. Your food will taste better. It will have a richness and a depth that you simply cannot get from processed soybean or corn oil. But more importantly, your body will recognize these fats. Your metabolism will shift from running on inflammatory, unstable fuel to running on high-quality, efficient energy. You will feel fuller for longer. Your blood sugar will stabilize. Your energy crashes in the afternoon, they will vanish. This is what happens when you treat your body like the machine it is, and you give it the fuel it was designed to run on. But there is a strategy to this transition. I call it the pantry upgrade. Do not try to replace everything at once if it overwhelms you. Start by replacing the oil you use the most. If you fry eggs every morning, switch that oil today. Go to the store, look for a high-quality avocado oil or a grass-fed butter, and make that your new standard. Once you get comfortable with that, tackle the salad dressing. Stop buying the ones on the shelf filled with soybean and canola oil. Buy a good bottle of olive oil, some apple cider vinegar, a little Dijon mustard, and make your own dressing in 30 seconds. It will taste better, it will be cheaper, and it will be an act of rebellion against the food industry that has been poisoning you. I want you to understand that this is not a temporary diet. This is a lifestyle change. The reason so many people feel like they are falling apart as they hit their 60s, 70s, and 80s is not because they are old. It is because they have spent 50 or 60 years accumulating damage. Every time you eat those industrial seed oils, you are adding to that pile of damage. Every time you switch to a real, traditional fat, you are stopping the damage and allowing your body to finally start the repair process. The body is an incredible healer. It is constantly renewing itself, but it needs the building blocks to do that repair. It needs the right fats to rebuild your cells. It needs the right nutrients to dampen the inflammation. You are the architect of your own health. I have seen people who were ready to give up, who were walking with canes, who were struggling to remember their own grandchildren's names, turn their health around just by getting serious about their kitchen. It sounds too simple to be true, doesn't it? Just change your oil and your life gets better. It sounds like a sales pitch, but it is not a sales pitch. It is biochemistry. It is the fundamental law of human biology. You are what you eat. If you eat inflammation, you will feel inflammation. If you eat health, you will build health. I want you to commit to this. Not for a week, not for a month, but as a permanent change. Look at your pantry right now. Take those bottles of soybean, corn, canola, sunflower, and cottonseed oil out. Do not give them to a neighbor. Do not put them in the break room at work. And do not think, oh, I'll just use them for guests. Throw them away. Treat them like the hazards they are. And then go to the store with a new mission. Read the labels. If you see the ingredients we listed, put it back. If you have to spend an extra $2 on a bottle of high-quality oil, think of it as a down payment on your future independence. It is far cheaper than the cost of a long-term care facility or a decade of medication that only masks the symptoms while the fire continues to burn. If this video reached you at the right moment, if something here clicked for you and you realize that your pantry might be the reason you haven't been feeling like yourself, please share this with someone you love. Send this to your children, your siblings, or your friends who are in the same age group. We are building a community here of people who refuse to be victims of a food industry that doesn't care about our health. We are taking back control of our own bodies, one meal at a time. Subscribe to this channel, turn on the notifications, and join us in this mission to live fully, without the pain, without the fog, and without the fear. Before you go, I have one final challenge for you. Leave a comment below and tell me, what is the first bad oil you are going to throw out today? I read every single comment, and I want to see this community taking action. Your story is the fuel for our next research project. Take care of yourself, keep your kitchen clean, and keep fighting for your future. You have so much more life to live, and you deserve to live it with a body that feels strong, clear, and capable. Stay sharp, stay healthy, and don't let anyone tell you that decline is just a part of getting older. You have the power to change your trajectory right now. Go out there and make the right choice.